Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. First off today, I want to say that thank you very much for everyone who's out there carving out some time in their day and just allowing themselves to have quiet time to sit and listen to this. I don't know about you, but as of yesterday, I'm starting to feel a little stir crazy, wanting life to get back to normal. And I know that my situation is I should be so grateful for my situation that I'm not one of the people in the hospital. I am so grateful to everyone who is out there in the medical community, including members of my family, day in, day out, trying to help people who have contracted corona. And so I do my very best to maintain that state of gratitude. And at the same time, as of yesterday, I was starting to feel, like I said, a little stir crazy with the situation, wanting things to get back to normal. And so I appreciate the fact that if you're feeling that you are allowing yourself to carve out the time to just listen to these readings. I think this sense of normalcy is part of what will keep us all centered. Having something to look forward to every day, having something to be grateful for every day, and having a little bit of routine in our day helps keep things in that state of normalcy. And so again, if you're feeling a little bit off center as I have been the last day, try and continue to do those things. It's been helpful for me, and hopefully that will be helpful for you as well. And if I discover anything else along the way, I'll be happy to pass it along. I think that's the great spirit that we're operating within in these times, is that there is definitely a spirit of connectedness now that there hasn't been perhaps in a long, long time, where we are reaching out and trying to help each other. And I encourage you to allow yourself to accept that help if you need it, and to give that help if you're able to. So let's get started today with our chapter. Before I jump in, I want to show you a new book cover. This one is from Slovakia, and it looks similar to the German cover, and that is because they purchased the artwork from the original artist. Her name is Ruth Lieb. She's an amazing artist, and she created such a great feel, not just with the cover itself, but on the interior. They have different images and pieces of artwork that she created. About every chapter or 2 chapters, there's a cool picture. And it just gives the book a neat vibe. And it's not something that is typically done in US publishing. And so kind of cool to see it, and awesome that Ruth's amazing artwork is being spread across so many different countries in such a positive way. So thank you to them for using it, and thank you, Ruth, for creating such beautiful artwork. All right, we are now on chapter 9, so lay back, relax, find your quiet spot, and here we go. Sorry, I think I said chapter 9, I think we're on chapter 8. All right, here we go. My mind was spinning. I looked down at the menu and reread the first question. Why are you here? It had a whole different meaning now compared to the first time I'd read it. I tried to remember the exact words Casey used earlier. It's asking why someone exists at all. On a level I couldn't quite explain, I felt like something was pulling me to ask the question I'd briefly seen on the menu when I was talking with Casey. I remembered what it was. Why am I here? I also remembered Casey's comments on the ramifications that might come from truly asking it. This is crazy, I said to myself and rubbed my eyes. All I need is some food, a little gasoline, and a place to crash for a few hours. What am I doing thinking about all these other things? I drank half my water, and as I put down the glass, I noticed Mike was standing next to the table with a pitcher. Can I give you a refill? He asked. You look like you might be able to handle a little more. I accepted his offer, and he filled the clear tumbler. My name's Mike, he said. I stood up and we shook hands. Nice to meet you, Mike. I'm John. Are you okay, John? Seemed like you were pretty deep in thought when I walked over. Something like that, I replied and sat back down. Casey was explaining to me what the text on the front of the menu means. I'm still trying to sort it out, see if it means anything for me. As I finished speaking, I realized Mike might not have any idea what Casey and I had been talking about. Even though he was the owner, maybe she was the one who had come up with the questions on the menu and the text on the cover. He didn't hesitate for a second, though. Yeah, that's a tough one. People face it at all different times. Some sort it out when they're little kids, some when they're older. Other people never do. It's funny that way. Since Mike seemed to understand the path Casey and I had started walking with our conversations, I decided to ask him the question that was on my mind. Mike, Casey explained to me what some of the ramifications are if someone asks themselves a personal version of this question, I said, and pointed toward the menu. But I was wondering what they do after that. Mike glanced at the menu. Do you mean after they ask the question, or after they find out the answer? I paused for a few seconds while I thought through his question. Both, I guess. We didn't go into too many details about how someone actually finds out the answer, or what they do once they know. She just explained to me a little bit about what it would be like once they did know. Well, as far as how to find the answer, I don't think there is just one method that works for every person. We all approach life in our own way. I can tell you some of the techniques used by people I know who have found their answer. I was about to reply, but caught myself and paused for a moment. I had a hunch that having some insight into how to find the answer to the question might make it even harder not to ask it. That's true, said Mike. Same theory as Casey probably explained to you. I was only moderately surprised that he, too, seemed to know what I was thinking before I said it out loud. I wasn't sure I wanted to learn what other people had done. After all, I wasn't even sure I wanted to ask the question yet. Mike, what about the other piece? What does someone do once they know the answer to the question? Mike smiled. I'll tell you what. Why don't I go check on your order, and when I come back, I'll answer that. A few moments later, he returned with a tray full of plates. Is that all mine? I asked, wondering what 2 paragraphs of description about my food I hadn't read on the menu. Absolutely. 1 breakfast platter, complete with omelet, toast, ham, bacon, fresh fruit, hash browns, biscuits, and a side of pancakes. I looked around to see if there were 3 other people interested in joining me. In addition to that, we've got jelly for the toast, syrup for the pancakes, honey for the biscuits, and our special tomato salsa for the omelet. I'm glad you're hungry. I'm not sure anyone is this hungry, I said. You'd be surprised, John. Sometimes you just don't know how ready you are for something filling. Mike put the food on the table. John, I need to go talk with the couple at the other side of the cafe for a little bit, but I'll come back, and we can continue our conversation then if that's okay with you. Sure, I replied as I looked at all the plates in front of me. No problem. All right, everyone. Be well, be safe, be healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow.